So this is another episode continuing another series that I just started, and I think we're gonna stick with. Well, I'm gonna personally gonna keep on sticking with memories with friends, and so previous episode that we had was a personal friend of mine who was Janice, and this week's episode, or this episode is another personal friend of mine that I've also known for a long time, and her name is Cannibias. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Howdy! My name is, Canny, and I have been, internet netizen for quite a while. I am very happy to be here with my friend.
And unlike previous Janice on the previous episode, there was no like special happening whatsoever. The first time we met, gosh, do you remember how the first time, like, do you remember around generally the first time we met, or like any sort of memory when we were first interacting with each other?
I'm pretty sure I do. I believe it was about, a good 5 years ago,
5 years
right?
ago was our first interaction. Yes,
2018,
2017, I
and
believe.
it was either late 2017 or early 2018. So it's been 5, maybe almost 6 years,
Getting close to
and
6, yeah.
it was in a server called CFC, Shiaki Fan Club.
Gosh, I don't even remember that server name. I was trying to remember it. It's been so long because I ended up leaving that server. It's a long story, but I ended up leaving that server maybe about a year later, so that's why I don't have that much memories about it. But I,
What the hot dog?
but the memories I do have in there is because of you specifically. Um, so
Sure.
did you remember having any first impression, if at all, about me?
I remember you seemed a little bit withdrawn. Like I thought that maybe you might be a little bit shy and perhaps not fully comfortable with the server and the people in the server to really feel comfortable speaking your mind. And so I thought, oh, hey, here's a new person. I'm gonna come in and try and give them an opening to talk and connect with other people here.
I was very reserved during that time. 5 years ago was a long time ago. And I was a completely different person back then. I was just starting out college during that year. And gosh, I was so socially awkward during that time. And for some reason, for whatever reason, that server actually was pretty active back then, the CFC server. And
Yes.
there was a lot of people in the voice chat.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, the voice chats would get up to like 20, 30 people at the time.
I was so fascinated by that too. Like I was just like, gosh, there's so many people in there. I wonder if I can join. So I ended up joining um, one of the channels, and Canny happened to be in there, and
Woohoo!
I was pretty surprised that she noticed me right away. And she started immediately like talking to me. And being the socially awkward person I was just like, yeah, and I wouldn't respond that well. But as time went on, what's it called? At first, the only interactions we had personally was me joining voice chat. I never really talked in the server itself, in terms of like typing out in the Discord channels, whatever. But I would frequently join voice chat, and you would be there a lot of the time. You frequently frequented the voice chats a lot.
Yeah, I spent pretty much all of my time um, on Discord and in voice chats and a couple different servers. And I know I do remember you being very shy and reserved, like especially when you first would join. Um, but whenever you would speak, it was always very insightful. Like you would always have like I think you would take time to like collect your thoughts, and when you would talk it was always interesting, it was always insightful, it was always interesting. And I enjoyed hearing you talk, and so I try um I don't know, like, especially then, because I spent so much time in voice chat, is I wanted, it to be kind of welcoming, especially to new people. So I would kind of try to like encourage people to talk more, just because I enjoyed hearing what they had to say, especially you.
All I remember was I was being cringe back then.
Oh, whatever. You were not that bad, especially compared to.
I remember some people who were very outlandish. I don't remember the name. I just remember they were very outlandish, and very wild, at least to say. But
I
I
think
still,
you might be remembering Neko.
I think so. Yeah,
Um,
it might be him.
he was very. I love him. He's a fantastic person, but he's very loud and definitely an interesting personality. He's actually a VTuber now.
What?
Which I think he has the perfect personality. So I'm very happy to see him and his channel doing well.
I see. That's interesting. Gosh, one of the earliest memories I have in being in a voice chat with you was that you played the ukulele, I think.
I did play the
And
ukulele.
you were singing during that time. I remember just being so bewildered. I'm like, what is this like mini concert? I had never imagined someone playing an instrument in the voice channel because I would during that time I guess I assumed that like most of the time people who do play instruments and play instruments would normally record a video first and upload it instead just because they have control over the quality or whatsoever. So I was kind of surprised that someone was just directly playing it live. And that was one of the earliest memories that I have. Specifically you when I was interacting with you. Gosh. At some point, it went from talking to you in the voice chat, and I don't remember exactly why or when it started, but I started directly messaging you. And I don't remember why. Do you happen to remember if
It's one of, I believe, three things. It had to do maybe with dreams. You had these like you used to have these like really vivid, crazy dreams, and you would talk to me about some of the dreams that you would have. It could have been writing because I liked writing music and you liked you've always been very creative, and I believe you were writing a story, like, or had written a story and were showing parts of that to me. Or it had to do with GBF because around that time I think I was starting GBF, and it's a bit complicated. The UI was very unfamiliar to me because it was the first of its kind that I'd really played, and you had a lot of experience in the game.
Gosh, I think it might have been dreams, just because of I think there was a topic on the voice channel or voice chat, sorry, that came up, and we were talking about dreams, and I was like, "Bruh, do I have a story for you?" I couldn't really say it out loud, so I think I ended up directly messaging you, and
I think
yeah,
that was it.
and so
I think that came before.
yeah. And GBF I think was way later. I think it was like 2 years later after that point. But yeah, that's when I started directly messaging you. And then I think like eventually, like maybe a year after, no one really joined the voice channels anymore. Or at least we weren't active from what I remember. You and I weren't very active in that server.
Oh, yeah, no, I got a that was at the time I'd gotten a new job and it sucked the life out of me. I was working like 14 to 16 hour shifts.
Yeah.
I was not active anywhere.
So during that time, after like a year or so, there was like a period where we didn't really talk, and I myself was going through a lot of things. A lot of things changed for me during those first 2 years of college, and it wasn't until I think the second year of my college, so about 2 years after I met you, I started directly messaging you more frequently. I think at one point it was like there was literally like a 8 month cutoff or something like that where we last talked, and I was just like, "Hey, do you remember me?"
I do. I have a fairly decent memory.
And I was like, "Yeah," it's like I remember you too, and then I was
Woo
like,
woo.
"You were one of the people I talked to back then. You were cool." So I decided to message you for absolutely no reason outside of that. And
Yo, I'm cool. What the heck?
And so we ended up just talking again, like just random topics all the time. And from there, it was just directly messaging. And during that time, I went through like 2 Discord accounts or something like that. I don't. That was a dark history in my past. And that's why I currently go by Jin right now. I've gone through many names. I think you've gone through like 3 of my names. I'm pretty sure you knew. I went through 3 Discord accounts of 3 names before finally settling on this one. And you were just cool about it. You were like, hey, yeah, whatever.
It's all Gucci.
And yeah, we went through a lot of conversations. I think if I remember correctly, between the first account that I met you on, I didn't really message you during that time. The second account was when that really started, the actual direct messaging. And
Yeah.
so between that one and the second account after that I made, not including this account, I think we made up to like, what was it?
Over 100,000.
Almost 100,000. Yeah, we talked a lot.
There was a lot of talking, and they were good conversations. I definitely enjoyed them.
Gosh, yeah. It's kind of strange if you think about it because, well, I feel like personally, in my opinion, that if you don't frequently talk to people on voice, it becomes harder to how do you say this? Interact with each other like on a frequent basis, right? It becomes harder and harder to like keep up with each other, especially when time goes on, when people move on to do other things. I feel like this was I guess kind of like a lucky happening.
Exception?
Yeah, like an exception where technically we didn't really talk to each other in voice chat. Like after that point where outside of leaving the server, like we maybe only probably did a voice call once outside of that. And yeah, I feel like it's still kind of, I wouldn't say a miracle, it's just astounding or surprising to me that we still kept in touch despite only doing through text messages. Like, it's kind of like having a pen pal, you know? At some point, someone's gonna forget to reply, and then you never get that chain of reply, you know?
Well, I think I feel like because I have a couple of friends who are like my best friend is like that. I feel like maybe I have some type of personality where I can talk to someone and we can have like good insightful conversations, and I can enjoy their presence and we can be friends. And then I'm totally fine with not talking to someone for 2 years, and then they message me and they're like, "Hey, what's up?" And we have an 8-hour conversation and we catch up and we have a good time. And then I don't talk to them for another 2 years. And it's totally fine with me. And it's not like I forget about them or I stop caring about them. And I think like it's just not awkward for me. And so I think that maybe that might be part of it.
I think another large part of it is, well, personally, I'm not awkward either when it comes to having large gaps, in like, conversations history, but, I think another large part of it is because I would spew out so much random things, just like random topics at at one point, it's like, I think I remember it was like, we had a conversation, ended, and then 2 months go by, no, like, I don't message you, we don't message each other, and then suddenly I come to you, I'm like, hey, do you want to hear about this dream I had again?
Absolutely, tell me right now.
And then it's just like, as if that 2 month, like, the gap just never existed, and then, it was, it's just interesting to think about it that way, that, the gaps that we have in our, times we talk to each other is so insignificant, I think, overall. But I still think to other people that might be like a strange concept or like some kind of like miracle, in that sense that if you don't talk to each other on a daily basis, that you end up losing touch, which I guess is true to some extent. But as us internet weeb dwellers exist, we're socially, how do you say this?
Sentence?
we don't require that much, how do you say this, talking in order to be satisfied.
I know because that's just my natural state of being. Is I'm not the type of person who just talks to someone every single day. Like I don't feel the need to be talked to every day, and I don't feel the need to like talk to the same person every single day. And I actually ran it like I have an IRL friend who is company I really enjoy, otherwise I wouldn't consider them a friend. And I remember they messaged me and they were like, you haven't called or like text me for like 2 months. Are you mad at me? And I was like, no, no, I'm not. I just hadn't thought of anything to talk about. If you ever need anything, I'm always here. I'm not mad at you, I swear. And it's just and so it's just kind of odd because like that's the dynamic that's most normal to me. And sometimes other people will, they'll be a little bit, maybe not quite understand that.
Yeah. It, that kind of like dynamic is also very hard to get along with for most people, just because they're not used to the feeling of having someone who just doesn't have the need to talk all the time. So yeah, I can see why they would feel worried. They're like, do they hate me? It's like, no, 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 I don't hate you. It's just I have nothing to talk about, so there's no reason to talk. You know? And like
Yep.
that's not even like in a mean way. It's just simply that, like, when we feel like we have something to talk about, we will talk about it. But if we have nothing, then we can't really. We're kind of like making, I guess, like a pie out of rocks or something like that. It's kind of difficult to do that in the first place, and if you could trick someone into doing that, then hats off to you.
Yeah.
But we can't really do that. Human ingenuity can't go us that far with making a rock into a pie.
Amen. Amen to that, brother.
And so, yeah, I want to bring on like 5 to 6 years now. 5 to 6 years of knowing each other online, and we never really, well, not really, never really, we never met each other at all. So 5 to 6 years, that's a long time.
It is a long time.
I went to I started out college when I first met you, and I graduated recently now. And thank you. And you're at the stage of your life where you're making another, I guess, life-changing decision. Do you want to elaborate on that, or do you just want to keep that off the side for now?
I mean, I don't mind talking about it. I know the program I'm in like a young adult program right now for like foster youth. And so they've like been helping me go to school and like affordable housing. And in August I age out, and so I'm gonna be kind of like going out into the real world. um and so I'm kind of anxious about that. um but I'm also excited because I will be moving cities. I'm not sure where, but it will be somewhere in Texas.
Hmm. That's a very, I guess that's a huge part of your life, or I guess big chapter of your life where everything changes now. But I'm presumably I'll be around, still talking to you. I'm assuming at this point we will be until we like die of old age or something. I don't know.
I don't think I'll be going anywhere, and unless somehow my the Discord furries decide that I am not worthy to have a Discord account, then I shall be under the same name.
A hidden identity that I don't know about. Gosh. And so, another topic I want to bring up is, you, whoever may be watching this, probably no one, honestly, except for maybe future me, or, who knows, maybe I have dementia or something, memory lost or something like that. You may be wondering why I have Shimekaze from Kantai Collection, or Kankole, better known as a background / thumbnail, whatever, because I only use one image for this. I don't really edit this, to be honest. Well, the reason why I have her is because, well, Kenny here really likes her, and for the past 6 years has never changed their profile, as far as I know, from Shimekaze.
Woo woo.
So what brought you to even, I guess, liking her?
Well, when I was a wee lad of, like 17, I, was, I used to use, when I talked to my IRL friends, we would play visual novels like the, critically acclaimed Doki Doki Literature Club, over Skype. Except they all had Discord, and I was the only one who had Skype because I grew up without technology for most of my life, and I got a laptop for the first time when I was 17. So it was my first time with real technology. And so I was old school, and I wanted to use Skype, and I didn't want to download Discord because I don't need Discord. I have Skype. Skype works perfectly fine. And they finally convinced me to get a Discord, and it was like, choose a profile picture. And so I looked up anime women on Google Images, and I came across this Shimekaze picture, and I didn't even know who she was at the time. I'd never played Kenko Collection yet, and I just liked her eyes. I just liked the way she was staring off blankly into the distance, and I made her my profile picture. And you know those memes where it's like the obese man who's like looking in the mirror, and the mirror has like an anime girl, and he's like, oh my god, this is me. That was me, except with Shimekaze. I was like, that expression, that's me. That's how I feel on the inside. That's me, and it just resonated with me. It was really cringe. I was a teenager, so I don't beat myself up about it too much. But I don't know. I've just never really felt the need to change my profile picture, and I've also never seen a picture that resonates with me as much. And after playing, and watching some playthroughs of Kenko and watching the anime and reading the manga, she's actually a pretty cool character. I wish she was sexualized a little less, but I like her design, and I like her character, so she's pretty swag.
I think I've never really stuck to one profile picture until now, which is the current picture I use.
I love your current picture.
It's from the reason why I use it because it's so silly. I like it. Well, it's silly in a cute sense, but it's not an anime girl. I think that's kind of cringe for me to use as as a man. It's like, oh no, I have a hot female anime girl as my profile picture. Surely this will go well, masquerading as a weeaboo online.
Masquerading.
Not to insult all the other people out there, but I wanted to have something that anyone could be like, yeah, it's him. He's not trying to be a fucking weeaboo or something like that. Not that I'm trying to present myself online. It's just that's how I am. I'm not like a full-on weeaboo. Actually, what I do and have contradicts my statement, but I feel like I'm not a full-on weeaboo. I don't collect figurines. I don't do the whole idol whatever AKB48 or something like that. I don't involve myself with that, but
Naruhodo, I see. You are above us, filthy weebs.
I don't try speaking in random Japanese phrases like those people who do that. I don't understand why.
Those people? Watashi?
I swear to God, those people are really cringe when you hear them talk.
One of my favorite things to say to make people a wee bit upset is I'll say, oh, hontoni gomena, sorry, my lord.
Why must you kill them with cringe? That's a weapon that should be banned.
Das krinke.
Oh no. But yeah, so I ended up choosing this profile. I'm forgetting what his name is, but it's like he's a I guess semi-famous or famous animator on YouTube that makes really random, silly sketches of like skits of cats, drawn cats, and they do like the most wild random things, and you can never,
Aw.
ever predict the endings of those short skits. I've shown you a few of them. I think I remember.
I believe you have.
And yeah, it's like it's just so random. So like he ended up drawing that picture that I have, and I just looked at it. I was like, that seems to be a good mood. So I ended up choosing that, and now I don't think I'll ever switch just because there is no unless I commission an artist specifically to draw some sort of profile or something like that. I don't think I'll ever go out of my way to switch profile picture outside of that. And I think it's the same for you, where nothing really kind of clicks with you in terms of looking at that art or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I don't know if someone was like, hey, I'll give you $1 billion if you change your PFP. It's not like I would say no. That's against my principles. I won't change my PFP. It's just nothing really resonates. So, and it would just feel awkward to, I don't know, because I've had it for so many years now. Now I kind of feel like pressured to to maybe not change it.
You're stuck with that identity. You're not allowed to change.
Oh no!
If you change, people will be like, "Who are you? I don't recognize you.
Who's this?
Who is this person committing identity fraud, calling themselves Cannibias, but doesn't have the Shimakaze picture? How dare they?"
Song emoji.
But yeah, our conversations usually go along the sides of this. Sometimes it gets real, like philosophical or random topics. And speaking of random topics, I do want to talk about Grand Blue Fantasy, the game that I tried very hard to get you in.
Yahoo!
It was very the process was very interesting because I really liked Grand Blue Fantasy during that time, and I was just like, "Hey, Kenny, do you want to try Grand like creepy that creepy dude wearing a hood and he's like, do you want to try these goods?" Like, I was basically like that.
I don't know if your school had the DARE program, like the drug abuse resistance education,
they did.
but they had this film that they would show in class where this guy had like the trench coat and he would be like, "You want some candy or you want some drugs?"
You want the goods?
and that's you. You want some GBM?
And the way I went about it was not gameplay appeal, was not like look at this like awesome thing. It was literally woman. I was like, look at all these gotcha woman.
Oh,
This
I have to have
woman.
them right now. Mommy milkers.
And I remember you're like, I like older women. I'm like, I got you. And so I just started barraging you with a ton of art. Specifically, the ones on the older side. And you were like, oh my lord, I have to try now.
I need this now.
And so
and it was
you ended up trying it for quite a while, which I was surprised. I thought you were just gonna play it for
abandon it immediately.
Yeah, like play it for like maybe 1 month and abandon it, which I didn't mind because that's if you're not interested, what can I do?
I actually made I have 2 GBF accounts, and the first one I got to level 120 in it was about a week and a half. And then the second account, which is the current account I use now, I got to level 120 in 3 days during an EXP up event.
Yeah, you were speeding.
I was Speedy Gonzalez. I still play occasionally. Like, the holiday anniversary is coming up, so I've been logging in and getting my rewards, doing my little draws. Filthy seasonal. I do, however, play the story, and I do actually read the story. So whenever it updates, I do go in and I play the story and I check it out. So.
Have you seen the actual like things they teach? Because just today, our time today, during like I would say 12 to 5 a.m. ish, my time.
Hmm.
They had a live stream for the anniversary, the 9th anniversary, and they revealed a bunch of stuff now. Have you seen the
What?
stuff coming from the anniversary?
I actually have not. Do not watch streamers or live streams. However, I did see a tweet that my friend pinged me with. He was like, "If you win this, you must take me to Japan." And so I know that they are doing some sort of like I think it's like 20 people a day, and they're winning like free tickets to a tourist spot in Japan,
Yeah.
which is crazy. Um, uh, so like this year seems really hype. Is there any? It's like what all does it entail? Because no hablo Japanese and did not watch live stream.
So there's a lot of changes coming. Not like, oh my god, it's like a new era type thing. It's just a lot of big updates that should be coming as the year goes on. And specifically this event has revealed a lot in terms of story, because this event is technically canonical to the actual main story. Have you read the event story at all?
I have read some of it. Let me actually check. How far am I into it?
So the events that happen here is pretty much what I believe is considered canonical to the main story. Just it happens in a different time other than that. And it's really interesting too, because we start learning about a lot of what we call the simulations that happens, and the man who is responsible for maintaining the balance in the world kind of screwed up royally a lot. And
Yeah.
so we're at that point where a lot of characters are being involved again, like the Eternals, and the Evokers are also getting new uncaps. So that's an interesting thing to see.
That is exciting.
Some of the arts they've shown is really cool. I would have to show them later after this recording. Maybe we can just do another whole episode geeking out over Grand Blue Fantasy, and maybe me trying to introduce you to another gacha addiction. We'll glance over that fact later on. But yeah, like just a lot of changes, and after the stream I'll show you. I think it's amazing, and or cool at least, not like super amazing. But yeah, what else is there to talk about? Gosh, I think at one point I tried recommending you a lot of anime or something like that.
I think I remember you. It was either anime or a show or manga or something. Or you definitely recommended me music. I don't remember what exactly it was that you recommended me though.
For music, I don't remember much of what I say, just because I'm kind of brain empty type person at times. But I have a feeling based on my past self that I most likely, just based on what I know, probably try recommending you in terms of music, Blue Archive music.
You did. You also you would send me GFL fan art.
Yes, I sent you a lot of GFL fan art.
You
questionable ones too at the same time. Just because I was being, it's just that was my past self. I probably won't do that now, but who knows? Maybe
It was fire. It was fire emoji, and I have a friend who's really into GFL, and I was able to ping him and be like, "Hey, look at this fan art," and pretend like I'm this big GFL fan lore master, which I'm not.
Yeah, gosh, so many things, and from what I remember, at least now it's kind of obvious, is that I don't talk with anyone that you know anymore. So it's literally just between us now. We have no mutual friends, I don't think we even have a mutual server at this point. So, if we are in a mutual server, it's probably by coincidence in terms of it's an actual big public domain server kind of thing.
Yes, all of them are like Shadowverse, like Fate emotes,
We're here for the
Arknights.
emotes. And so, yeah, we don't really interact with each other in public servers. We literally only DM each other, and
That's so wacky.
no mutual server. So like at some point, if I lose my account or you lose your account, there was zero way for us to find each other through mutual friends whatsoever.
Wait, no. Remember the official the official Shadowverse server.
I'm not in
If,
it.
yes, wait, but that's our mutual server.
Am I
You
in the
are in
Shadowverse
it.
server?
You are in the Shadowverse server.
When
You are
am I
in.
it? What?
Wait, you're in our Shadowverse, so that's the Reddit one, right? Oh my god, are you a Redditor? Oh no!
I don't remember joining the R Shadowverse. I legitimately do not remember this. How am I in this?
I don't remember joining it either.
And specifically, my Shadowverse, or not my Shadowverse, my Reddit account, it has nothing to do with Shadowverse. It's literally for a different game because I use it for specifically game news. That's it. I don't use it for anything else. So somehow we have our Shadowverse.
I don't use Reddit. I don't know how I got there. Maybe someone posted an email and
Maybe, yeah, we probably
ended up.
something.
Oh man, that's wacky.
What the heck? You're in the server that I'm most active in, actually.
Wait,
Which
what
is the
the
Kenzoku
fuck?
portal.
Oh.
And the reason why I'm active there is not because, well, I do like the VTuber. I've gotten I was at a phase in my life where I was in the VTuber rabbit hole. Unfortunately,
Oh no.
I'm not in that phase anymore. I pretty much don't watch them anymore.
I don't know who that is. I don't think I've.
She's basically like a tomboy. And the whole point is that her shtick is that she's supposed to be a devil, but everyone calls her an angel because she's so, quote unquote, too good to be evil.
Ooh.
And so, also her main shtick is gaming. She plays a lot of games, especially FPS or like high skilled games.
Yeah, let's go gamer.
I ended up joining that server because I was curious if because I knew that that VTuber was really good at games, so I felt like that server will probably have a lot of people who like games, because generally the community
logic.
Yeah, the community usually mirrors the the person that they're under. So joined there, and turns out they have a very large or very active mobile game, basically gacha game community.
Hey.
And so that's why I'm active there. We're degenerates, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I advise you stay away from it because all you're gonna see is degeneracy.
I think I've been exposed to enough of that in my lifetime. I don't know if it would affect me.
But yeah, that's why I'm active there. But that's it. Like, that's the only public server I'm really active in. Just it's solely because of that. So back to the topic where we don't really interact with each other in public servers. It's kind of wild if you think about that. Well, also makes sense. Once you know each other on a more personal level, there's no need to be in a public space in a sense.
Well, the other thing is I am not a DMer. I do not typically have DM conversations with people. The only people that I DM on any type of semi-regular basis is you, and then I have a friend who I've also been friends with for a long time, and his name is Jesus, and like RNO Jesus, like RNG, RNG Jesus, and he sends me he's been cooking, and he sends me pictures of the food that he makes, and we have conversations about his food, and that's it. Like, that's it. That's the end of the DM list. That's the end. The start and the end.
Yeah, you did tell me that you weren't really even a huge person to DM in the first place because of that whole gap thing that you tend to usually do, so people don't keep up with your I wouldn't say antics, but your your way of communicating. So it ends up being all in the public servers or whatever, like group servers that you happen to be in. But I guess I managed to get through that exception whatever that I got through. So even adding on to that, plus our we frequently had large gaps between our conversations, and we've known each other for 5-6 years now. It's pretty incredible that we're at this point where now I decided, hey, I want to record, a video just of us, having a conversation, reminiscing about our past, whatever, or maybe even do, potential future videos of, whatever. And, it's gotten to the point where we're doing this now, and who knows what will happen in the next 5 years or even a year from now. Anything could happen. And so that's why I wanted to make this, recording/video, was because I want to look back one day, or maybe anyone else that wants to look back, that I've maybe recorded with, and have fond memories of the time that we spent together. So that was the purpose of this video, and I'm actually really grateful that you even agreed to do this, because this was not a requirement whatsoever. I literally just brought it up randomly. I was like, hey, do you want to record a video?
It's legally required. If you don't record this video, you owe me $50. Just kidding. But it was definitely on my bucket list to be on some type of podcast someday. So I'm very grateful that you had me.
Gosh, time flies by when talking to each other. It's already been 40 minutes, by the way, since we started recording.
What the poggeroni? Oh my god, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
So, on a more serious note, because this sort of is, almost like a time capsule.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so when you think of yourself 5 years ago, and you think about what types of things would you have wanted to let yourself know, and try to think of yourself 5 years in the future. What do you want your future self to know about your past self, or your future, or your past self to know about your future self?
Gosh, that's a really good question. I think my past self, I think the one thing that I really wish to know about was, I guess, self-confidence. Because in 5 years ago, I was not very confident in myself. I was very pessimistic about everything, and having no self-confidence barred me a lot from reaching out to try and do new things. And I sort of regret not trying out new things when I could have, because now I'm at that point of life where options are generally limited just because of how the real life works. So if I can go back 5 years ago and tell my past self something, it would be be more self-confident in yourself and try experiencing things that you've never done before. I think that'd be the main thing. And if I were to try and convince my future self something, or have something in mind for my future self, I think right now would be I think it's what I'm doing right now. I think is specifically reaching out to people that I've known, or am in the process of making friends with, or continuously being friends with, and making more memories with them instead, because now I value a lot of, I guess close relationships with other people, because as time goes by, people move on, and I don't know what's gonna happen in the 5 years from now. Who knows what could possibly happen? So right now, I think if I were to look back so future me looking back 5 years, which is currently now, I think I would be satisfied of what I'm doing right now.
Hell yeah. I think that's awesome.
What about you?
Well, hey future me, 5 years. Woo! Damn, you're old. So current me has been lifting weights. I plan on getting ripped and swole. So if I, when I come back here in 5 years, if I'm flexing and I can't see my muscles, I'm gonna be pretty upset at you that you didn't keep at it. And also not the same as yours, but definitely I hope that in the future I can be a little bit more self-confident, and not not be unempathetic, but be prioritize my own things first. There's a lot of things that I haven't or didn't do in life because I was afraid that they would offend or discomfort someone, and I don't know, the way I grew up is just was taught that, everyone else's comfort is more important than my own. And so it's something that my own well-being and comfort has been something that I've just been really comfortable with giving up for the sake of others. And I've been trying, not in like a callous way, but just being more mindful of doing the things that I want to do. Um, because if someone is a little bit offended or a little bit discomforted, as long as you're not like actively hurting someone, I don't think it's a bad thing. And so I'm hoping that the me in 5 years will be a lot more confident and will do the things that they've always kind of wanted to do but never done because they were afraid of uh, maybe making someone a little bit uncomfortable.
I see. Well, with that, I think it is time to end, the recording. It's gone on for a while now, and who knows? We'll probably. I feel like there might be, another episode of whatever topic that can be come up. But for now, I do want to end this, and so I'll probably end with a closing statement. And um, it's kind of weird of me saying this, but once I say, when I say bye-bye, you can say bye too if you want. So, I'll end the statement, I'll end the recording here now, which is, this has been Memories with Friends. So,
Toodaloo, buckaroo.
yeah, see you next time. Bye.